When I once said to people that on my journey through the gray path that I, in a way, held Christ's hand while going down the valley of death, what I now realize is that anyone who properly puts on the armor of God can safely leave the shepherd's fence and explore the unknown. To walk with Jesus, to follow him, means to leave the comfort zone of the Bible, not disregard the teachings held within your mind, and the comfort of staying with the sheep who are just beginning to learn the basics and explore the unknown, usually via church. There is nothing to fear in gaining knowledge if you use the teachings of Christ as your foundation, which in other words means to put on the armor of God. It is all symbolic. Nothing can pluck you out of the Father's hand. Once you explore other religious teachings, and if you want, even learn about the total opposite of the New Testament teachings, which allows you to better know your enemy, you, seeing through the eyes of Christ via Christ consciousness, will now be able to understand with better awareness what Jesus Christ sees, making you realize the true world you live in more in depth. You must see with your third eye. In a way, I always understood this, but I was using different terms to describe something not yet fully understood. One of the main goals in life is to perfect yourself within using Christ consciousness, being able to see how he sees, which, when living your life, is literally walking with Christ. You are following him, becoming like him. He is the truth of life. His light must be understood as knowledge, for the mind starts off in darkness and is lost. A lack of knowledge is a dangerous thing, and those who hide in the church and stay ignorant to other teachings because Christ is right and that's it, will never truly realize why Christ's teachings are right. For example, some Christians are too afraid to read the Quran because that's dangerous and I might get deceived and convert to Islam. But when you have Christ's teachings as your foundation, wearing the armor of God, you will literally never be able to be deceived because Christ's teachings are literally the light of life. Exploring other things isn't testing God, but having true faith, which will convert from blind faith to realization, which is needed to not be afraid of somehow ending up thinking false things about Christ. Once again, nothing can pluck you out of your Father's hand, meaning no knowledge of Jesus's, which came from the Father, the Supreme God, will be below any other knowledge. His knowledge is the absolute supreme. I think to myself once again, as I have typed in the past, that we are all born in the gray, in the middle, and only after we grow into the age of knowing can we decide which path we choose, who will be our master, and which hand we grab. Why fear being deceived by other religions? Test them. Go forth with the armor of God, which is the light, knowledge, of Christ, and see for yourself, which will bring you to higher levels of Christ consciousness, as you are proven time and time again that the teachings of Christ are true. There is a risk of getting lost and deceived if you do not know how to properly wear the armor of God, so until you are ready for the journey down the rabbit hole, or the valley of the shadow of death, do not leave the fence as a sheep. For in the beginning all Christians are behind the fence. Go back to the teachings, which as stated should be your foundation, and once you have your greater awakening, you will know that you are ready. To have this smaller Christ consciousness awakening, you must observe that which is outside of the fence. You do not at first leave the fence, but look at the outside world within the fence. Okay, so basically, you are a sheep within the fence of the Good Shepherd. Once you learn the teachings right, and you get to that point where you have your greater awakening of Christ consciousness, then you can leave the fence, having the armor of God put on you, and walk amongst the wolves, and see the world for how it really is on the outside, which makes you achieve higher levels of Christ consciousness. You cannot have perfect Christ consciousness. You can never become like Christ, for Christ is one with God. He's one with the Father. He has God consciousness. Also, we are what we eat and drink, and eating the bread, his flesh, of Jesus, and drinking the wine, his blood, is once again symbolic to become like him. To eat and drink is to spiritually eat of his knowledge. This can be compared to Adam and Eve, who ate, gained dualistic gnosis, which is good and evil, of the tree, which means a being, aka gained sinful knowledge from the serpent. To counter what Adam and Eve ate, since our minds are now open, we now must eat from Jesus Christ's knowledge, which is to eat, learn from his bread, knowledge, and drink to have the sacred vibrations, which is our thoughts within our living waters, living blood now because we are drinking Christ's blood, which is to convert to his being, become more pure and whole. We will never be able to remove sin from ourselves while we are still here in the flesh life, but we can perfect ourselves to become more righteous through transforming ourselves to Christ consciousness. To understand the transformation of water within, you must learn about sacred geometry, which is the mathematical formula of the universe, the world of matter. Then you can learn about sacred vibrations, which alter the geometric shapes of water. Thought is vibration, and different words have been proven to alter the geometric shapes of water. Positive words such as hope, love, faith, care, etc., when set at a water drop under a microscope, have changed the shape of the water, but bad words distort the shape. To understand this concept more, you can look at a snowflake up close. One of the secrets of snow is that each snowflake that is falling holds its own unique geometric shape, so in a way, the building blocks of the universe are literally falling to the ground. So anyway, back to water. With the words of Christ, the living water, you from knowing his words are transforming, converting your blood of sin to a more pure state, getting closer to home, so to speak, by the very thoughts within your mind. You, instead of the Pharisees who appear clean on the outside but are filthy within, are instead becoming clean within, quite literally, and on a spiritual level allowing your flesh brain to improve towards God's will. Spiritual knowledge benefits the spirit and the flesh. Through this transformation, you can learn to connect with the creative spirit which is all around us all the time by walking in the spirit, living in love, and being one with nature instead of above it, though man does have authority over the earth due to our dominion. Unfortunately, due to our sin and the majority not knowing, we abuse our earth and all the creatures living in it. I can explain how I've interacted with nature in great ways and how the creative spirit, God, has also used nature to communicate with me. I can get right beside animals that run away from the common human because they not only sense that I am in Christ consciousness, but feel my love when I project it towards them, which is something you can learn in time. If you read along and listened to me talk, I thank you for it, and I hope you got something out of this video. May God bless you.